This apple pie and vegan pie crust is a family favorite and has been perfected by my daughter Ryan, who's our resident vegan baker. Baked in individual Dutch ovens, these little gems come out of the oven with a piping hot, appley, cinnamony filling and perfectly flaky browned crust. I especially love the little heart cutouts and that bubbling hot apple pie filling. Okay, let's rewind and I'll show you how we make the vegan pie dough, how we roll it out, make a lattice topping, and then of course how we make that sweet, tart, warm apple pie filling. First up is the vegan pie dough. Ryan and I make our own, and you can find the full recipe on our Basil Food Journal blog. We refrigerate our dough as large balls, and here you'll see Ryan rolling it out after cooling it overnight. Your pie dough must be cooled when you start working with it, because you want the butter to melt in the oven and not before. If you allow it to melt before, it won't come out browned and flaky. After you've rolled it out, pop it in the fridge in its rolled out form for another 30 minutes. Then it's time to make your apple pie filling. For this, you'll add all the ingredients into a large mixing bowl. Be sure each individual pie slice is covered completely and evenly. You'll start to notice the juices from the apples will form at the bottom of the bowl. Pop the apple pie filling in the fridge to keep it cool as well. And by the way, you can't smell it here, but the aromas are amazing, and they're only going to get better. It's time to assemble. Go back and get your cooled vegan pie dough out of the fridge and lay it out on a lightly floured flat surface. Wrap the pie dough onto your rolling pin and lay it out onto your dish. Form the cooled crust to cover the bottom and the sides of your mini Dutch oven. Crimp the edges just like with a larger pie. If your dough cracks or tears, don't worry, you can patch it up with some leftover pie dough. This can be a bit tricky, but if your vegan pie dough has been chilled, you won't have too much trouble. Scoop in your sweet, tart, cinnamony apple pie filling into the mini Dutch ovens. Your filling should have also been chilling in the fridge. Arrange the apple slices so they fan out inside the dish. This makes for an attractive presentation. Wrap the remaining pie dough around your pie roller. Gently lay it over the mini Dutch oven filled with apple pie filling. Cut it to fit and then crimp the edges. And with that, your apple pie with a traditional pie top is complete. Here's how you make a lattice top for your apple pie. First, slice your vegan pie dough into 1/2 inch strips. Arrange 3 or 4 of the strips across the top of your pies. Then weave in 3 or 4 additional strips to make the crisscross lattice pattern. Finesse these steps as necessary. You'll need to work the strips in and make them even as you go along. The real trick here is to do this as quickly as possible. Remember, you don't want the butter in the dough to melt upon handling it. Trim the edges of the lattice and then fold the edge of the bottom crust up and over so that the edge of the dough is in line with the edge of your pie dish. Crimp the dough with your fingers or a fork. Brush the egg wash over the lattice pieces only. The edges will brown on their own since they're closer to the heat. Finally, bake. Place the pie on a preheated baking sheet in the oven. Bake at 425 for 20 minutes and then reduce the heat to 375 and bake until the filling is bubbling and the crust is golden brown. I know all this cooling and rolling and wrapping seems like a lot, but it's worth it. Professional bakers know this is the key to making the perfect pie, and now you know the trick as well. Enjoy.